Hi, it's Stuart Sutton at 1 Acre Plus Homes. We're going to cover what seems to be an increasing problem in our real estate market for homes on an acre or more. This is a problem you can avoid, especially if your real estate agent has the experience, recognizes it, and knows the steps to deal with it. Let me jump in and tell you exactly how to save your contract and get to closing. You see, one of the two main reasons that contracts don't reach closings are now because of inspections. And from what I'm seeing, from my personal experience, it's actually climbed to number one above loan issues. Loan issues used to be number one, but I think with technology and training, that's become number two. But inspections have, in my opinion, from my personal experience, become the major reason. And I think you're about to see some of the reasons why. So one of the biggest reasons that inspections are a problem is because of the way that the buyers are prepared or not prepared, and the way the inspector is perceived or not perceived. Let me show you what I mean. You see, after the home inspection and after explaining to the buyers, there are often unwarranted concerns. Let me share this very bluntly. It's not derogatory in any way, form, or manner. I think any inspector will admit this. Inspectors are not experts in every area of a home inspection. Some may know electrical issues a little better than plumbing or pool or septic or whatever the case is. However, the expert is the one you want to lean on. And what I mean by that is, if the inspector red flags something on the air conditioning system and then an AC expert comes out and overrides that inspector, it's the AC expert who you're going to pay attention to. And that goes for plumbing or electrical or any other area of the home. However, oftentimes buyers walk away from inspection very concerned about particular issues because they weren't presented properly. And if you ever watch murder mysteries on TV, you know the rule is it's always the husband, it's always the husband, it's always the husband. I think I heard that last night. But in the real estate business, when it comes to buyers and sellers and inspections, the rule is buyers always overestimate costs. Always, 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 always. And I'm about to show you some very truthful and sincere examples of exactly that. So after the inspection, after the buyers have become very concerned, and now they have overestimated, quite sincerely, it's often by their own estimates or their agent's estimates or verbal estimates. I can't tell you how many times I've seen an estimate come across for a repair. When I investigate, I found out it was nothing more than the expert looking at the inspection report, not even coming out to look at the problem. Now they want a huge discount off the price or their closing costs paid. And of course the seller is saying, how can this be? Our house is not in the baddest shape. This shouldn't cost that much. My job as your representative is to bring this situation back to reality. And that's exactly what we do. We take very specific steps in order to make that happen. What we do is actually take the time to get real bids. I just completed one where we literally had the electrician come out to the home and assess the situation that the inspector had pointed out to the buyer, and the buyer was very, very concerned about. The septic expert comes out, looks at the system, assesses it, makes recommendation and gives bids, and now we know where we stand. And that could be air conditioners, that could be windows. I've seen where an inspector says the windows are bad and the buyer thinks there's $20,000 worth of windows, and it ends up being 2 windows out of the whole house. But the only way to find that out is to bring out a window expert. So I'm going to give you some examples. These are true examples. As a matter of fact, they're all quite recent. We had a buyer whose initial reaction was to ask for a $60,000 discount. Now, they had been told that it would be very, very costly to do a couple of things. Septic tank, septic field, dual air conditioning system, etc. We don't know where they got their numbers. We asked, but we weren't really told. They were estimates, we believe, just from the agent and the buyer. So we actually had the experts come out. And it wasn't cheap, but it was $12,500. That's a 79% decrease from their initial ask of $60,000. We closed the home, the proper work and proper repairs were made, and everybody was happy. We absolutely were not going to close that home if the buyer was going to insist on $30 or $40 or $50 or $60,000. There's no doubt about it. I had another one recently where they overestimated the cost of a shower and a leak that was occurring within a master bedroom shower. As a matter of fact, that and the termites that they felt needed to be treated, we had a 75% discount from their initial ask. They wanted $24,000. It turned out to be a $6,000 job to take care of some termite damage. There were no termites. And to take care of a shower leak and rebuild portions of the shower. That's huge. $24,000 versus $6,000. Now, do all houses have big bills like $6,000? And well, no. Most of the time, we see $500 or $1,000. Sometimes $1,500. Sometimes repairs, and the seller can just take care of them. But we are seeing more and more of this big discount ask at the beginning, and then we've got to go through the steps of getting it down. So rather than just tossing it aside because it's ridiculous, because usually it is, we want to take the steps to get it to a realistic situation that everyone can live with. And then here's one where we did not get this buyer to an agreement. They asked for $35,000 based on what their inspector told them and their estimates, and they were very concerned about it. We got estimates. They were considerably less. They went away because they did not trust the estimates. The next buyer came along and closed with $1,500 worth of repairs. The previous buyer had asked for $35,000. This one asked for $1,500. So that shows you that different situations, different inspectors, different buyers can have different levels of concern. But on the second buyer, we went ahead and had the estimates available for them. They knew what those estimates were. They knew what repairs needed to be made, and they were satisfied and closed. Let me emphasize, on each of these situations, the inspector of the septic system was not an expert in repair and maintenance. The inspector was not an expert on the AC system. The inspector was not an expert on rebuilding a shower. So we brought in people who were. I hope this makes sense. So I encourage you very highly to rely on experience and taking those extra steps. Don't get verbal bids on paper, just looking at the inspection report. Have the experts come out. Now, if your agent doesn't have those contacts, you probably ought to consider hiring someone who can call in an expert, who does have relationships with people who will come in and give reasonable and valuable bids so that you can make decisions based on those bids. And again, most situations don't turn out like this, but it's not uncommon that that buyer will ask for that big discount, and then your agent has to walk you through the process, and the buyer and the buyer's agents through the process of getting it to a realistic number. I hope this makes sense. I did pop another video up for you. You've seen that we do have a buyer's love it or leave it guarantee, and that video is right there. If you know of anyone that'd like to see it, including yourself, I hope to see you on that video. Subscribe to the channel. Look forward to seeing you soon.